Good evening, World Wide Web. Welcome back to my stock channel. This is James with another stock update. This one's on Spirit Airlines, Inc. They are awaiting their buyout. Last year, they were courted by Frontier and JetBlue, and it looks like JetBlue won in the end and made a deal to buy Spirit Airlines. JetBlue, I think, is the number 5 carrier in the country. In size, and Spirit Airlines I think is like number 7 or 8, and for some reason the Justice Department calls them a monopoly, because they'll be too big of a company combined. In reality, they would actually be breaking up a monopoly called Delta Airlines, I believe is number 1, and they're the ones that don't want these people to merge together. They don't want any competition at that level, and they don't want anyone to be encroaching on their size and their power. So it's very political. The Justice Department is trying to break up this merger, calling it a monopoly between number 5 and number 8 merging. It's not like number 1 and number 2 merging. It's not your normal Microsoft merging with Google type of monopoly. This is like number 5 and number 7, number 5 and number 8. Should have been a non-issue. Frontier was going to merge with them. It seemed like the Justice Department was okay with that. I don't know why, but apparently that was okay, but not for JetBlue. So they're in court for the next year. The deal went off at $33 with a couple of dollars to be paid in a dividend, which I think might have already been handed out. The expected final resting place for this when the deal closes, if it can get through the Justice Department and all those judges and lawyers, sometime at the end of this year, this thing might hit $23, $24. That's the expected new price. It will then be bought out at that price, I guess, and maybe they close this ticker out and we don't have Spirit anymore. We just have JetBlue, and they just take all their planes and write JetBlue on the side. Or maybe they'll keep the brand alive. Who knows? $17.11. Not really much news there. This company's pretty much been hovering in the same spot. It did go up to 22 for a while. This is kind of where it's going to sell at. So whenever it looks like, that they might win against the Justice Department, and then here's them not doing so good against the Justice Department, down to $17, which is really sad because Spirit wrote this deal. And I mean, they're having a kind of a great year and a terrible year at the same time. They lost a ton of money last quarter, $270 million on $1.4 billion in revenue. Year over year, a lot of growth just happened right after they sold the company. All of a sudden, Spirit does $5 billion a year instead of $3.2 billion a year. So they're probably pretty excited over that, but then bummed because they sold the company, and then they did that, and they lost a similar loss. They lose about $500 million every year. Back in 2019, before COVID, they were making 200 to 400 million a year. The assets, balance sheet, debt, right side up all the way through. Still is right side up to this day. Maybe these are the planes and the payments. The debt is $7.61 billion, just in size, and with an annual income of $5 billion. It's a little over a year's revenue. It's a lot of debt. It's a big monthly payment. It's probably expensive to service, and hope they didn't get it on a variable rate. Let's just hope that. Cash, $1.45 billion. Yeah, I mean, they're not going anywhere, and it's going to close eventually at 23 or 24 unless the Justice Department can break it up. I don't know why they would even bother. It's not a monopoly in my opinion. I wish I ruled the world. Then I would just say, let them merge. Whoever won the battle. But Spirit really wanted to go with Frontier, and the stockholder wanted to go with JetBlue because they were offering an extra $6. But still, Spirit said no. We're going to go with Frontier. Like the board, it was really resistant to their own stockholders and to money. They didn't like the money. It just became very political at that level. And I think the Justice Department sided with the board of Spirit Airlines, and then the stockholders voted, and they voted for JetBlue. So it's supposed to go to the stockholders' will, but instead of allowing the stockholders to have their own free will, they just had the Justice Department intervene, probably on behalf of the board of directors of Spirit Airlines. It's a very sad story of, well, whatever your conspiracy is on this one, but I got my own. From 17 to 22, it shall bounce. It really can't leave that zone. Obviously, it's going to most likely end one day at $22 or $23, unless they can wiggle out of the contract. And now they're losing a bunch of money. I don't know if they want to. And Frontier backed out. They're not interested anymore. But here we go. Spirit Airlines. It's maybe a free 10 or 20%, and it might take you 2 years to collect it. But that's where it's at right now. As we get closer to a finish line, I'll try to keep you posted again. Maybe we can beat the finish line on this one. Find out when the litigation is going to end. And maybe we can jump on it before everyone else does. But it's going to end up somewhere between $23 and $25. And then I don't know what happens after that, if it turns into JetBlue stock or if it still stays Spirit stock. Either way, we'll find out and we'll keep you posted. Please subscribe to my channel and like my video. I really appreciate you for doing so. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you on the next one.